Why don't I see it there? I have it open but it's not letting me, it's not, oh, hold on, maybe that's it. Hear that? No, that's not it.
That's
Are people,
Microsoft Word.
okay, that's Word, right? All right, let's see. Okay. And application, really quite strange. I can see everything but the slides.
Do you have like a lot of windows open, like email and other things too, or is it just a couple?
Well, let me see. Maybe if I'll close some. Uh, okay, maybe that's it.
And Dr. Feynman, while he's working on this, if you want to try sharing the slides as well, because I know before you had shared your regular screen, but if you could try sharing just the slides, we might not have the issue that it
Yeah,
was
I just want to
duplicating.
move. I was
That's
going
fine.
to change my background. I just want to make sure it's okay because it was pretty busy. What do you want? You want to see the you want to see the slides?
Yes.
Well, here's my screen, and here are the slides.
Right. So when you choose to share, sometimes it helps if you just share the slides instead of sharing your whole screen, but that looks like it worked. Can you just put
There
them
you
in
go. Now
presenter
this is
mode?
the whole screen. I'm sorry.
Can you just put them like, there they go. They're in slideshow mode now. They weren't in slideshow mode initially.
Yeah. No, I got it. And then we can do it this way.
But I
Yeah, that
don't,
works.
yep, I see them now. And those are yours, right?
Yes, those are Dr. Feynman slides.
Okay.
So we still have
You
you.
want me to stop sharing?
You can stop now. Yep, we just wanted to make sure that it worked. This is why we run the test, so that if we need to flip anything around in the program guide, we can do that.
Good.
So, so normally what we do is we just have one faculty share their screen for the whole program because it's a cleaner experience for the user. And then if, for example, Dr. Feynman, if you're sharing your slides, we would just have Dr. Panettiere prompt for next slide when he was presenting. Is that okay?
Fine with me.
Okay. So did you both get a
Sounds like
chance to
there's an
look at
echo.
this?
There's a little bit of an echo, but I mean, I guess in the real program, you're not going to have that. Is that correct?
I think the echo is because I'm speaking, and in the program, I will be completely muted, not speaking at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not getting an echo when either of you speak, so it's probably on my end.
Okay. That sounds good.
So, did you both get a chance to look at the slides? I mean, we kind of just split the slide deck in half, but if there's anything that either of you wanted to switch around in terms of who's presenting what, that's all in the moderator guide. That's the Word document.
No,
Mhm.
I'm good. I'm good with the way it's printed.
No, I think that's fine. Do we just call on each other?
Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
So I guess it looks like that Dr. Panettiere, he starts. So we just sort of call on each other and sort of follow the script. Is that right?
Yep. We tried to make it as simple as possible. So, what will happen on the day of the program is you'll both log on like this, and we'll just make sure everybody's up and running. And then 5 minutes before the program, you'll see the screen change to this. Right now, you can still hear me and I can still hear you.
Show me again. Oh, I see, like that. Okay.
So right now you can still hear me and I can still hear you. But on the day of the program, once this screen goes up, I will not be able to hear you and you will not be able to hear me. And then what will happen is at tomorrow it's the morning. Tomorrow morning, once the program is set to start, this will be up for about 5 minutes, and then you'll see this pop up. When the screen changes to the two of you side by side with the title underneath, that's how you know it's time to start. You will still not be able to hear me, but the audience will be able to see and hear you. So Dr. Panettiere, you'll say hello, welcome. You'll introduce yourself. You'll pass it over to Dr. Feynman. You'll see you'll see your affiliations come up under your faces, as well as your disclosures. And then it will switch to the learning objectives, which will be full screen. The audience can still hear you at this point, but they cannot see you. If you can't see yourself, the audience can't see you either. So when the slides are on the screen, they can only hear you, they can't see you. And that goes for both of you. So then after the learning objectives are done, Dr. Feynman will say, let's start with a brief discussion. You'll talk about the prompts on here as much as you see fit. And then Dr. Feynman, you will share your slides and you'll begin with that first slide. So I'll update this moderator guide to say Dr. Feynman share slides instead of Dr. Panettiere.
Okay.
And then you'll see, you'll go through that first slide, definitions of severe asthma. Then Dr. Panettiere will come in with confirming the diagnosis, and those two slides, phenotypes. Then you stop slide sharing. The two of you have a discussion about personalizing therapy, comorbidities in particular. And then Dr. Feynman, you'll go back to slides, and Dr. Panettiere will present EGPA, HES, and chronic rhinosinusitis, which is always a mouthful. So basically, we'll stay at that point in SlideShare mode all the way until the end of the program. So it'll stay on slides and audio only all the way through the summary slide. And then after the summary slide, you two will come up side by side, just like you are now, and have like that little last, any final thoughts? Don't forget to take the post test. And then once you two are done with that, you'll see the thank you slide come up. At that point, I will turn off both of your audio. And unless you have any questions for me, you are free to log off and enjoy your Saturday.
Okay.
So the audience, is that right?
Sorry, say that one more time.
We don't take questions from the audience?
No, at this point, we're working on ways to do that, but we have not finished testing that system yet. So right now we are not doing any questions from the audience. We also haven't really, we've done a few of these now and we really haven't had questions. The only comments we've gotten are like, great, thank you, great presentation, but very few questions. So.
Can I ask, can we go through the slides again just to be more explicit, which are the ones each of us are doing?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's.
I'm going to get a pen.
Yeah.
Sure.
This way we won't have any hiccups tomorrow.
Absolutely. Is it slowing down for you at all, Dr. Panettiere?
Well, slowing down is a relative term. But what we're going to talk about here is what time do you want us to be on? At 9 o'clock or 9:30?
Anywhere between 9:30 and 9:45.
Okay, so log on at 9:30.
Yep, I'll be on at 9:30, and then once you're online and we make sure everything is good, then, I won't need you until 10 o'clock.
Okay, great. All right.
Oh,
so,
okay.
oh, it's 10 o'clock. All right.
Yeah, the program runs from 10 to 10:45, give or take a few minutes there.
Got it. Okay, so if we just go through the slides so we each got our parts straight, I think that'd
Yep.
be helpful.
Absolutely. So Dr. Feynman, when you're ready, if you can share your slides.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a sec. I gotta do share screen first, right?
Yes. You may be able to select sharing your slides directly instead of sharing the stage 10, but either way is fine. Perfect. Okay.
Is this what you want?
That is what I want.
Okay.
All right,
So
this is the
this
first.
first slide is Dr. Feynman. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
first one.
Well, let's see. First, there's a little discussion, right?
Yes, but it rolls into this slide. So this is the first actual slide for the program.
Well, what's up before this, just so that we get the script down?
Your faces side by side. Dr. Feynman, you can stay on screen share for the moment. But so basically, Dr. Panettiere, what you'll see is you'll come up side by side and you'll see the title at the bottom. This is the hello, welcome to our program.
And am I doing that, or who's
Yes.
doing? Okay, all right.
Yep, and that's on the user guide. That's on the moderator guide. That was the Word document attached to the calendar appointment.
Okay, yep, all right. Well, I'll print that out just so that I have it, but, you know, it's hard for me to look at that while looking at this stuff now. So I got it. So I do the welcome, and then this will be then come up after that, right?
Yeah, so then the slide, so you'll do welcome, faculty, disclosures, learning objectives. Then
Got it.
brief discussion of persistent symptoms, frequent exacerbation, what is severe asthma, why does it matter? And then
Larissa, let me interrupt you just a sec. When you
Sure.
say brief discussion, you just want us to talk between ourselves about, concerns about the patients having these problems like persistent symptoms or exacerbations or things like that?
Yeah, so just like general introduction to severe asthma before we go into the actual definitions and diagnosis.
Okay.
So we put discussion points on here, but obviously you can focus on the ones that you think are most important. You do not have to touch on all of them. You can if you want to. We always say, you two are the experts, certainly not us, and you know what's most important for the audience to hear.
Okay.
So you'll have that discussion, and that will transition to let's talk about the actual definition of severe asthma. And that's when Dr. Feynman, you'll share your screen. And let me just get that.
So it won't be, okay, so me sharing screen.
Yeah,
Yes,
so-
instead of Dr. Panettiere, because
I'm just changing it on my sheet here. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that
Indeed,
it's up here.
you know, the program guide's very helpful, so the script is all there now. I just couldn't pull it up simultaneously, so this, now I get it.
Yeah, and Larissa, yeah, I mean, I don't have to read the whole slide here, do I? I mean, do people,
No.
are they gonna get hard copies of the slides too, or are they just gonna get them when we flash them?
they'll get them when you flash them, but they'll be able to play this back after it's over if they want to go back to something. And they can, I mean, people are able to reach out to us and request slides, but because it's social media, we don't have like a traditional registration list that we can email them all their slides. You know what I mean? Like we only have what information they give to us. So it won't be, but you do not have to read the slides. No. And quite frankly, we're primarily targeting a specialist audience here. So if, they're going to know most of this, or at least you would hope.
Okay. That clarifies a lot. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Now I understand now seeing this, what the expectations are, so.
So, Dr. Feynman, you'll present this slide and then you'll
This is
advance to the
turn it
next
over
slide.
To Ray. Got it.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll then pass it over and then we'll shift attention to confirm diagnosis. So now I understand. Okay.
So you're going to need to prompt me, though, Ray, when to
Yes,
advance each one of these things.
Yeah, what I'll do, Stan, is say next slide, next slide, next slide.
Got it.
That's fine. Yep, good.
Okay.
So then, Dr. Feynman, after Dr. Panettiere is done with this phenotype slide,
Okay.
you'll actually stop sharing your screen.
Oh, okay.
So you can just hit that button in the middle there, stop sharing, and you'll come back up. It takes a second sometimes, so just, there we go. And I'll flip you both so you'll be side by side. And you'll have a little bit of an open discussion on comorbidities in general, because as you can see in the deck, we focus on 3 specific comorbidities. But this is the chance to bring up any others in advance that you think are worth talking about.
Okay.
So you'll have that conversation, and then Dr. Panettiere will say something like, now an important comorbidity that we want to talk about is EGPA. And Dr. Feynman, that's how you'll know to go back to the slide deck. The idea is we just...
You said so to do the most efficient way to do that is to punch this button and then go here. And then, is that still the most efficient way to do it?
Yeah, so you can do it like that, or you can, there's usually a way to share a specific application instead of sharing your whole screen, where you can just share PowerPoint. So if you stop sharing again,
Your screen, it says. I don't see where it says share PowerPoint.
usually, like, when you click share screen, it asks you what you want to share. If you want to share your whole screen or if you want to share something else. But you would have to stop sharing and redo it probably to see that option.
Okay, I forget it. Okay.
But you can, I mean, this is fine. And then, so if you go back to the PowerPoint slides.
Yeah, I got it. Here.
Yep, and then you would just advance to the next slide, which is EGPA.
Yep,
right.
So now, Dr. Panettiere presents a pretty big chunk of slides here. It's like 10 slides total. So he goes through the comorbidities and then starts with treatment. And then after he finishes consideration of add-on biologic therapy, which you've got a few more to go here.
Okay.
So he'll go through all of this and one more.
Yeah.
And then when we get to the IgE slide, which I think is the next one.
No, there's a bunch more.
Nope, no, go back.
Yeah, that's yours.
Back one more. Right here. Dr.
Ah,
Feynman, this
yeah.
is where you'll take over.
Yeah.
Got it.
So you're going to talk about what makes a patient a candidate for omalizumab, what makes them a candidate for the IL-5s, what makes them a candidate for IL-4. We have the GINA recommendations for how long you trial a therapy. Do you switch? Do you not switch?
Okay.
And then, so after you go through the GINA slides, I think there's 3 of them.
Yeah. Those are the
Yep.
3 GINA slides.
Yep,
Yeah,
and then,
these
well,
are-
so those 3, and then there's 3 more on GINA's guidelines on
Oh, yeah.
switching. Yep, so 1,
For switching, it's just the building slide.
Yeah.
right. we just broke it up into pieces so it's not so much on there at once. And then when you get to
Got it.
non-type 2, Dr. Panettiere, this is you'll come back in.
Sure. Okay.
He'll present this slide and the next slide. Yep. And then after that, it'll be a brief discussion of COVID. So we have the Quad AI recommendations. This is the only slide we have shown for this because there's still not a lot of evidence for anything. So this is really, I mean, we have this main points, you stay on your medication. That's the biggest thing. You avoid corticosteroids, of course. And this is really more of an open discussion on what the two of you think, what you're doing in your practice. This is much less of didactic slide presentation and much more of what are the realities that you're dealing with and that you're seeing with your patients.
Right.
Because the evidence is, still developing. So we know that there's not a whole lot out there in terms of hard and fast recommendation.
Yep.
And then
Okay.
once you're done talking about COVID, Dr. Panettiere will
Let
present.
me clarify one point.
Sure.
I'm a little concerned, and I know that it says avoid routine corticosteroids, but I think we need to make sure we clarify systemic versus topical. I mean, you want them to stay on their topical.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we will hit that point. What they're saying, they should be on their baseline therapy, their controller therapy, but try to avoid systemic. But I don't even know if that's the right if that's the right recommendation at this point. But the data is the data. We do know steroids decrease mortality in severe. So I think this is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
So then next slide is summary. So Dr. Panettiere will present this. Once he finishes the summary slide, Dr. Feynman, you can click stop share.
Okay. Got it.
And then if you click on that, I'll flip you guys back to side by side.
Whoops.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so I control whether there's one person or two people on the screen. You don't have to worry about that. I'll take care of that. And then, Dr. Feynman, any final thoughts, anything else you want to share that we didn't touch on? Have a little conversation about that. And then last line there, thank you so much for joining. Make sure you claim your CME credits. Not have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm sorry, the last program was at night. And then, like I said, once you finish with that, you will see this slide come up. No one will be able to hear you once this slide comes up. And unless you have any questions for me, you are done as far as I'm concerned.
All right.
The only other thought I would say is, quite honestly, how you're both dressed today is perfectly fine for tomorrow. You don't need to wear a tie. You don't need to wear a jacket. This is Facebook and Twitter. You do not need to be. You do not need to be business professional.
Yeah, we'd lose credibility if we had a tie on Twitter.
Especially on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Dr. Panettiere, I don't think you're on Twitter, correct? We did look. So this part doesn't apply to you, but Dr. Feynman, in the user guide that told you how to log on here, there is a section about how to share on Twitter. so that your followers know that you're doing this and they can check it out if they want. So what will happen tomorrow morning, and we can go through this again tomorrow, is I'll put up the welcome slide. Once you see this come up, if you refresh the Twitter account that's listed in the user guide, you should see the live stream, and then you'll be able to retweet it for your followers to watch it from your profile.
Okay.
So
I mean, I guess. Didn't you send me something already to do that with?
I sent you an image to let them know that you were to save the date.
Okay.
And then this
Got it.
one, you would actually retweet the actual video so they don't have to go searching on Twitter for it.
Okay.
This way,
I'll
you
do it.
just put it right there. And that is all
This
I
is just
have.
for
Unless
Twitter, not for Facebook, right?
if you want to share on Facebook, you can. You don't have to. I don't know if you use Facebook professionally or if you just use it personally. Because
Personally, yes.
yeah, so then don't worry about it on Facebook. We have the information there if you used it professionally, but if you don't worry about it.
Okay.
Good.
Any other questions for me?
No.
Yeah, I was just curious, Larissa, how many people do you anticipate signing in?
You know, we've only done a few of these, and we've kind of seen a range. So we had one where we had about 75 viewers. We had another one where we had 175. So we're not really sure. This is the first one we're doing on a weekend. So we'll kind of see how it goes. But I'll definitely send you both an email on Monday with what the numbers were so that you can see. The only other thing I would say is if you see this image pop up on the screen, or if you see this image pop up on the screen, that basically just means that the video is lagging a little bit. So that means the audio is working, but your mouths don't match what the sound is. So if you see that come up, keep talking, keep presenting, because the audio will work no matter what. Sometimes the video doesn't cooperate, but we've been on for 30 minutes now and the video has been working this entire time. So we should be okay.
Good.
Otherwise, we'll look like a bad.
The goal is to try to avoid that, but
We'll look like a bad B movie.
Oh, right.
but the good thing about having the slides up for the majority of the program is the audio will work. So when the slides are up, they can't tell if the video quality is poor because it's staying still. So that's, a big part of why the slides are what they are. That is all I have. Any other questions for me?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward. 9:30 Eastern Daylight Time, right?
That is correct.
All right, good. All right,
See you.
Dan. Look forward to.
Okay, yeah, we'll look forward to working with you. Sounds good.
Have a great